Hello ladies and gentlemen of the internet, it's Needle here and welcome back to Dark Souls 3. Now things look a little bit different right here and I want to explain why. Basically, I always try and find the easiest way to go through these games, so in Dark Souls 2 I picked the Claymore and Drang Lake Shield because they kind of guard you and get you through most enemies without taking damage, and really my guides are more like that. They want to kind of get people through the game as easy as possible without really running into any issues. And in Dark Souls 3 that comes in the form of the Dark Sword. It is sweaty, it is cheesy, it is unfair at times, it's so kinda, it used to be at least kinda really broken in PvP and people hated it. It's had a nerf since then in both PvE and PvP, but it's still quite overpowered, and so that's why we're using it. Basically you get it from the Dark Wraiths and just outside the Abyss Watcher boss battle. I just spent the last kind of 10 minutes or so farming them till I got one. Usually, and I've had about 4 playthroughs in this game by the way, I've only used the Dark Sword in one, but in every single one of those 3 or 4 playthroughs I always got the Dark Sword to drop first time through the area. This time, it generally took me about 10 minutes and I got, I think, there's the mask. I didn't get the chest, but I definitely got gauntlets and the leggings. So I nearly got every single set of the dark set along with 28 red eye orbs while I was farming for these things. But I did get it in the end. I obviously got a massive surplus of souls, and what I did was I used a couple of those souls, 1600 to be precise, to buy 2 more Titanite shards so we can upgrade this so that it's a +2. If you've been following my guide you should have enough to get it to +1 anyway, and then only be 2 shards shy of +2, and you can buy those other 2 shards right here at the Handmaiden. Since I farmed so long for it, I could actually have afforded to buy another bunch of shards and upgraded it to +3, but I didn't want to get too far ahead of where you guys might be if you'd been following my videos up to this point. So, we're roughly back at the same souls that we had. I think we had about 16,400 whenever I loaded this up before I started kind of farming. So we're going to use these souls now. And here's where we're going to start getting serious with our sort of stats. We want to start pushing the strength. Do we? Well, maybe not. We'll try and level out dexterity. And that leaves us about 5,000 souls. And do we have a refined gem? Heavy, we do have a refined gem. Okay, so here's where it gets fun. We're going to refine the Dark Sword. I'm not too sure where we got that refined gem from, but if you've been following my videos then no doubt we should also have it. So, Dark Sword. And you want to refine this thing. As you can see, you lose a little bit of base damage, but you do gain much better on the scaling. And that's the way you kind of want to play Dark Souls. You always want to have a weapon that scales well with your stats and have a good idea of where your build's going to go. We're going to push towards making our strength and dexterity kind of level as much as we can throughout the playthrough, and that's what we're going to do. With these souls, we are going to buy Titanite shards. So now we are 1 shard short of a +3 weapon, but that's fine. We'll probably get it here. I'm sorry if you can hear my B button kind of popping. I've no idea why that's doing that, but it's just the way it is at the moment. We'll pop into the Abyss Watcher's boss and head forward. Well, what happened to my hair there? Head forward into the Catacombs. Apologise if the frame rate drops to hell here. It usually does whenever I travel to this bonfire. Wait and see. Also, I apologise if it drops to hell at any point because I've been playing this morning. It seems to be a little bit slow and sluggish. I updated Windows 10 again because Windows 10 always requires updates. And my PC in general just seems a little bit slower than it has been for the last little while. And I think it's probably down to that. Now when you enter the Catacombs, there's one of 2 ways you can go. You can go that way, the long way, or you can take this trendy little shortcut right here. This is what we're going to do. This is the way I actually found my way through blind the first time. I had no idea you could even do this. So we have a friend here, and he's going to reform for us, and we're going to take him out. There is a... oh no, there's a crystal lizard over there. I was going to say there's a crystal lizard beneath us, but that's not true. Kind of hack away at these guys. The Dark Sword is good for this kind of thing. It just consumes virtually 0 stamina. You really want to just do this. And then you want to let it come back up. So that thing, it will just take you right out, as you can imagine, but... damn it. We will get that guy in just a second. But as you can see, this is going to keep going. And once you kill this sorcerer guy, that's going to explode and drop an undead bone shard for us. As you can see, those bones on the ground, that can only mean one thing. This is an ambush, because this is Dark Souls 3 Ambush Edition. And there it goes. Right, a few things to note. You see this skeleton right here has white eyes. If a skeleton has white eyes, it means that they are going to respawn if you kill them once. Do watch out for those kind of affinity type things, the Darkholm and Soul Masses. Whoa, oh yeah, that's right, he's got a white eye. They don't really seem to have all that much range on them right enough, so you can kind of outrun them, or at least outpace them, as it were. The thing to really be careful with them is that some of them are hidden in these sort of barrels right here. Are we getting our undead bone shard? Yeah. You'll also notice, apologies, that this is a lever to open this door and it's broken, and on the other side is our bonfire, so you have to walk our way around. There is no shortcut, by the way. Once you get that bonfire on the other side, you're on the other side. You can't come back through here via that gate, but that's okay. Right, so these pots here, I think, that have the coverings on them, these are the ones that are the traps, so you don't want to break any of these. Got a poke. I don't think it does have a poke. That's the exact opposite, really. Make your way through here, get the Carthus milk ring. This extends your roll distance, I think. Boost dexterity and obscures rolling. So if you played Dark Souls 2, there was an item that made your rolls invisible, and this is the same thing. Oh, and there you go, go and mess it up straight away. Wow. It's okay. I think it's better for PvP to confuse your opponents rather than PvE. I don't really think the enemies really care whether or not you have a long roll distance. Be careful when you're walking through here. There's obviously a trap there on the floor, but you can use it to your advantage. So we have throwing knives of any kind. This, as you can imagine, is just full of traps here, so anytime you can take your time and not aggro a bunch of undead people, that's good. That was an awful throw. Hey, that'll work better. So these guys can actually be a bit of a problem. One thing to do, of course, is to back over the trap, and usually you'll cause some damage, but that guy flipped at the perfect time. Okay, so we're just going to create some distance here. Good thing about these skeletons is they have zero poise, really, so you can just keep spamming them away. The only thing about this guy is that he respawns. I have no idea why that is. An enemy that difficult would be allowed to respawn, but whatever. Well, the good thing about the Dark Sword is you just spam R1 and kill everything. Carthus Rouge and Titanite Shard. So we've got our Titanite Shard that we needed. That's very good. But we also got Carthus Rouge, which is actually a little bit more important. Well, it can be. Not for this build. Carthus Rouge can make any weapon basically bleed the opponent. And if you have a build dedicated to causing bleed and you build luck and you get something like the Barber Straight Sword or Ornery Straight Sword, and then you add Carthus Rouge to it, you can kind of melt a lot of enemies and bosses in this game, no problem. It's a kind of common speedrun tactic. I don't think it's as common, to be fair, but yeah. As you can see, these guys have got the milk ring on, which I think is a pretty cool touch. You can just, yeah. Once you get a chance just to hack away at these guys, just do it, because it's not worth your time. There we go. Large Titanite Shards, so we can start upgrading again at our next level. Might as well just use your Estus here because the bonfire is just around the corner, so take every precaution you can to actually make sure you get through this area. Alright. There we go, that's what you want. As you can see, I triggered that trap there by accident. just want to make sure you don't do that like I did. It's my biggest pet hate in this game is that a lot of enemies just deliberately have stupidly long combos to catch out no matter how much stamina you've got, which makes absolutely no sense. I'm not even at the worst part yet. Erythil, when you get there, some of those enemies have 8 and 9 hit combos and there's multiples of them at times, and it's just, I don't know. I'm not a game designer, but it's definitely not something I would put in my game. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't be tricked by the shiny. Because that is a hole right down there. It's going to lead you into a trap full of bone meal skeletons and get you killed in like 2 seconds. Also, don't run out here because... oh, there's another one. Once he goes by, make your way around the corner and get your reward, which is the bonfire. Now, although we can get this bonfire and be happy about it, this is actually one of the more difficult this little ball thing is very difficult to actually avoid being damaged by, I'll be honest. There is a few ways to do it. My favourite way is to kind of camp right on this corner, let him roll down and come back up, and when he comes back up we sprint down the stairs. When we reach the bottom of the stairs we roll to the left instantly. And we might actually still take damage from the amount of rats that are down there, but we will avoid the skelly ball, or at least we should. So you can hear it already chasing us. Oh, we're caught in the wall. See the perils of this area. Now, there's multiple places you can go from this point on. If you want to break that skeleton ball, you can. You don't really get a reward for doing it. You can go down that way to do it on, and there's also a hidden wall over here that lets you go upstairs and find the sorcerer. Up there is also... oh, there's another rat there. Upstairs there is also the ashes that we need for Carthus Rouge. We're not going to be using Carthus Rouge in this run, so we don't really need the ashes. I don't really think it drops anything else either, so for the moment I think we will skip it and possibly come back to it later. These guys up here are kind of annoying. They're like little ninja dudes. Don't get too freaked out by them. But again, you see what I mean about no matter what you do in this game, enemies just seem to have combos that just go on and they just flip around and do stupid stuff like this. It's just, I don't know, it's just doesn't feel like a good way to play the game. And then sometimes they can't tank damage, and then other times they totally can tank damage. Like that. I mean, the skeletons fall apart, and then other times they don't fall apart, and I don't know. Going back to other games, going back to stuff like Dark Souls 2 and actually seeing a solid kind of pathway through using the correct kind of weapons and items is good. And then in this game, whenever you have no poise and enemies sometimes have poise and they sometimes don't have poise, and there's no real kind of rule for it or anything, it's very confusing and I don't understand why they made that decision. But again, I'm not a game designer. I'm sure they had a reason why, and maybe it was budget or something, I'm not sure. But now, I mean, look at that. That's just an instant attack with no wind up. That's just stupid. I'm sorry, that's just a weird... Why would you do that? Why would you make an attack like that? It's just a punishment for actually trying to be proactive. I mean, look at this guy here. And you can't even backstab him. He's still going. He's not out of stamina. We're totally out of stamina. Look, he's just running away. Hey! And as you can see, you can stagger them, just random as to whether or not they want to be staggered. Apologise for my heated rant there, but I don't know, sometimes this game just feels like it has zero rules, or at least the enemies do. I mean, look, that crystal lizard has literally just went through the world. We got the fire gem from it, but we really probably shouldn't have. Let's just try and knock this guy off. Bye bye. So as you can see down here, there's something interesting. And there is a way to access it. Don't be afraid by all these guys. These guys only become active if you... Okay, maybe they don't. Maybe the rules have changed. The rules have changed. The game has been changed. We must run. You want to attack this? And that'll break this. And bye bye to all the skeletons. So yeah, as you can see, there's a lone figure down there, looking very conspicuous. And also, as you can see, once I've cut this ladder, cut the bridge, it becomes a ladder. Down here and through a room, you can access another bonfire. However, it is through a couple of tough enemies, so I don't think we should do that just yet. We should go take on the boss, because the boss is not too difficult. There is a chance he could kill us, I won't lie. I'm going to make sure, do we have a soul consumable? Just in case we die, we can go back to the shrine and we'll upgrade the sword and come back. But here we go. I do love the concept for this boss, by the way. I think it's a very well designed boss. It's just, it shouldn't be very challenging, but we'll find out. So we have unleashed the powers of the abyss, it would seem, but thankfully we have a shiny to guide us forward. Let's go get it, shall we? Oh, and there's the man himself, the old High Lord. Now, as you can probably tell, we are meant to attack the yellow bracelets that he has. Now, this left one is obviously a lot more difficult to get. You see this kind of gas stuff that's surrounding him? Pretty much, if you touch that, it's not gonna end well for you. So do not touch that, no matter what you do. There's our first bracelet down. No worries. That's the hardest bracelet to do, so focus on that bracelet first and make sure you don't give up. Let them do an attack, and then you can come in here and just wail on these bracelets. I would like to point out that you can actually just fight him normally. You don't need to hit the bracelets, but it's just a hell of a lot easier, as you can imagine. His attacks are big and unwieldy, and every time you break a bracelet he obviously loses like 3/4 of his HP, so that's good, I guess. This becomes the biggest problem here whenever he starts rushing up the room. Because obviously the grey mist comes up with him. I can't imagine he's got too much left. What is he doing? There we go. I don't know what he was doing there, or he summoned some skeletons, but never mind, and there he goes. He has a very unique death animation, as you can see, and there is a reason for such a thing. We just need to kind of survive here. Yeah. As we destroy all of his bracelets, rather than dropping dead, he seems to get pulled back down into the darkness beneath him, and there's a reason for that, as everything gets contained within this goblet again. So this goblet, it's strange that this goblet's only significant for this fight. It's not actually significant as a whole. You don't get to pick it up or take it with you or anything like that. And this ends the reign of High Lord Wolnir. His reign in life was probably long. His reign in death was all of about 45 seconds to a minute. And the door opens to seal our way. We don't really need to look at anything after that. Light the said bonfire right here, and let's examine what we just got, which was his soul. Lord Wolnir of Carthus sentenced countless souls to gruesome deaths, keen to outlive them all. So already you can see this guy was a little bit of a bad guy, not someone to be trusted. Moving along, we picked up this pyromancy tome of the Grave Warden from the Carthus Catacombs. High Lord Wolnir of Carthus succumbed to the abyss, but the pyromancer later became a Grave Warden and discovered the Black Flame. So these are like, much like Deep Rail Divine Tome, these are sort of dark pyromancies to go with dark miracles. As you can see here, High Lord Wolnir succumbed to the abyss. So the abyss was definitely prevalent here in Carthus, which is apt because of course the abyss watchers are just upstairs, and if they saw any sort of hint of the abyss in your land, they would come and they would destroy it. So evidently, as some have theorised, Carthus was buried and Wolnir was sealed by possibly the abyss watchers themselves in order to bury the abyss that was attacking Carthus. Having done that, all the people who lived in the land of Carthus, which is clearly a land known for sort of, I wouldn't call them ninjas, but they use carved swords and they have bleed and things like that. They all turned to sort of become grave wardens and pyromancers and the like, and discovered some evil stuff. We'll go to our main man Ludlith here. Perhaps the soul can give us something more interesting. So we have two things here. We have Black Serpent and Wolnir's Holy Sword. Interesting, of course, the Black Serpent's actually a pyromancy, not a sorcery or miracle, even though it looks like it could possibly be. Pyromancy discovered from the abyss by High Lord Wolnir, I can't even say his name, that inspired the black arts of the Grave Wardens. Releases undulating black flames that trace the ground. Be it sorcery or pyromancy, all techniques that infringe on humanity lead to the same place. That is to say, they all seek a will of their own. That's a reference back to, I think, the Black Home and Soulmass Affinity, or whatever it was called in Dark Souls 1, which also said that they all have a will of their own. Humanity can't really be contained, and it will always kind of seek out that what it wants the most, I think is the theme going on there. And you can see again that High Lord Wolnir obviously created these black arts, which is another strike against him in the Abyss Watcher's book. His holy sword, he actually has this sword and can use it during the fight, but he never really got the chance to against us, and that's fine by me. A holy sword eroded by the abyss. When Wolnir fell to the abyss, he was gripped by a fear of true darkness and pleaded to the gods for the first time. This holy sword, together with 3 armlets stripped from the corpses of clerics, gave him some semblance of comfort. So we see here, he was taken by the abyss and trapped in the abyss, but he was so afraid of the dark and what the abyss had to hold, he prayed to the gods, and as a result got this holy sword, along with the 3 bracelets that we destroyed. So in effect, by destroying the bracelets, he couldn't fend off the abyss anymore, and he was dragged back down into the dark. That was what we saw there in his death animation. Another interesting point comes from the Shrine Handmaiden here, as you can now buy Wolnir's crown. It's not very good, it's just a fashion item, and even then I don't really find it particularly fashionable. But if you check this, once upon a time such things were bequeathed judiciously to each of the rightful lords until Wolnir brought them to their knees and ground their crowns to dust. Then the crowns became one and Wolnir the one High Lord. Now that may sound familiar if you've played Dark Souls 2 and its DLCs. Of course, in that game, if you do all the DLCs, you take the crowns of other lords and then grind them down almost into one crown and Vendrick's crown to help defeat the undead curse. Now I'm not saying of course that Wolnir is our character from Dark Souls 2, I just think it's a very deliberate sort of allusion there. It's definitely pointing out the similarities. In actual fact, I do like to point out that I don't want to buy it, but if you look at the image, I actually think the centerpiece with the little horns almost coming off it, not including the sort of cage structure at the top or the little bit that come down over your nose or the side of your face, I actually think the centerpiece of the crown there with the blue and the red in it actually is very, very similar to Vendrick's crown now that I've played Dark Souls 2 in the last few days. So perhaps, although it's not our character from Dark Souls 2, perhaps he took the crown which did belong to him once upon a time. So Wolnir's definitely an interesting character. He is human at the end of the day, although his size may say otherwise. He is a human, and in that case he is the most human character to us so far. He was a king, he was a conqueror, he succeeded, however he started to dabble in the wrong things. He paid the price for it. He managed to survive and hold on through the power of his armlets, and then we sort of ended his kingdom and his reign.
Just good, wasn't he?
All in a day's work. All in a day's work. So, powering us up to +3, +4. Okay, so
Pretty be careful, I know.
that's great stuff. So we're up to a +4 Dark Sword. That is so useful for us right now. Next, we're going to come over here. And we're going to level out our decks. Do we have another? Yeah, we do. I was misreading that screen there. back to HP. We want to try and get to 1000 HP now. So our attack is going up to 213, which is very good. I'm very happy with that. We've defeated Wolnir and kind of blitzed through the Catacombs. We're not going to check out the side area right now. We will do it, and we will do it not too far in the future. However, it is one of the most frustrating areas in the game, in my opinion. I don't really particularly like it. But we will need to go check it out in some capacity before we get too further, because we do want to further one NPC's questline, and they have parts of the questline here in the Catacombs and a part in the secret area which we kind of discovered through crushing the ladder, or crushing the bridge and creating the ladder. However, I just wanted to end on a sort of teaser of what we have to come. I did warn you guys about Irithyll. It's very deadly, but it's also very, very beautiful. I absolutely love the design of this place. You can see the shadows of a misty building up there, which looks perhaps also familiar to those of you who've played Dark Souls 1. For those of you who may have played that game, you may know what we're looking at right now. For those of you who haven't, that's okay. Just know that, in a sense, we're kind of home. Love this area. Love the design. Love the ideas and the lore behind it, both for the enemies and for the area itself. Absolutely hate the gameplay and getting through it. But it's our next area. We are kind of souped up. We need to prepare for some very tough challenges ahead, both here and in the secret area back in the Catacombs, but we will do that once upon a time, but not today. I'm going to take a rest here, guys. We've reached ourselves? We've reached this point ourselves, and we will continue on further. But until next time, guys, if you like this video, please drop it a like. If you want to see more content similar to this on my channel, please subscribe for more and check me out on social media. But I am Needle in the North. We're going to chill out at this bonfire, guys, so stay kindled.